I've been at the Perfect Workout for just about 3 years now, loving it. I'll also say that I heard your ad on the radio. I spent a lot of time in my car and heard your ad on the radio and the 20 minutes and kind of laughed at that for a long, long time. And then decided, well, what's to lose? Let me go see what these clowns think they can do in 20 minutes. Well, it was quite amazing. And I'm not a kid. I'm now 57, almost 58, and not in what did I say, 50? My assistant just corrected me.
Did your husband just correct you in the background about your age?
What did he did.
Oh my goodness.
I am 67. See, I keep trying to say 50. And not in terrible shape, but certainly didn't have a lot of strength that I didn't even realize I didn't have. And was very enlightened, very surprised, and did a few workouts and recognized the difference immediately, could tell that by being sore, but a good kind of sore. And it really did take 20 minutes. And I immediately did the 2 times a week rather than 1, and stuck with it ever since. And it has made a big difference in my strength and my ability to. My husband and I work together in the business as a general contractor. We build decks. He's not in the field, nor am I, but we go out and inspect jobs all the time. And we're constantly climbing, on uneven surfaces and down mountainsides and hiking upstairs. And I can tell a big difference in my strength. There are times where I have missed as much as a few weeks or a month. And when I go back, it's like, oh my God.
Like you've missed a few weeks or months of workouts?
Workouts, yes. Okay. I've had that happen a couple of times where for one time I actually got a really bad bronchitis that turned into pneumonia and wasn't able to work out for a good month. And not only can I tell it, and of course being sick is a good example, because I've missed before when I'm not ill, when I'm just super busy, can't get into the studio. And I'll recognize when I'm moving about that, things don't feel quite so like they were. And I'll go back to the studio and can definitely tell a difference. It's not like starting over, but it is definitely starting from a lower level. And it just proves to me over and over that, this is really working.
Yeah. And so staying consistent with the workouts too.
Exactly.
Is a big part of that, being able to maintain your strength.
Absolutely. One thing, and since we're just chatting here, one thing I said to Alyssa yesterday, that this has been interesting because when first of all, when she first mentioned, or I got the email about the virtual workout, I kind of poo-pooed that like I poo-pooed, the 20 minutes,
Sure.
And I thought, well, they proved me wrong the first time. I'll see what happens. Let's see about this. And it worked really well. And I was really shocked at how good of a workout you can get right in your own home.
I'd love to just unpack that a little bit. What was your initial hesitation to the Perfect Workout training in studio? Was the 20 minutes? That was like, how could I get a good workout in 20 minutes? Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
And then so when it came time to train virtually, because that was the only option, right now, what was the hesitation? Like, why did you feel skeptical about that?
Because I didn't see how the exercises could be performed without the equipment. And I I actually have a lot of equipment of my own, a good system. It's in another separate building, and we tried to do with a leg press and all that, and we
Oh.
tried to use that, but the signal is really bad. So it became evident that that was not going to work. So I thought, well, this isn't going to work. I'm just going to be in my living room. I have some weights, some power block weights, but that's all I have. And Alyssa assured me that no, you don't need anything. You don't even need those weights that you have. If you don't have it, we'll use something else. But I just didn't think without any kind of equipment that it was going to be possible to achieve a level of fatigue and hit the wall, so to speak, and do the, barely touch, barely start. So the exercises that you perform were definitely demonstrated that that's absolutely incorrect. And I guess what you're doing is working with your body weight. But it was, as a matter of fact, well, Alyssa says I'm pretty strong. And
well, if you've been with us for 3 years, I mean,
yeah,
you gotta be, right?
she said, for your legs and stuff, I'm pushing on the leg press close to 200 pounds. And so I just thought that doing these things at home, that it would be a slam dunk. And boy, was I wrong about that. I was getting to fatigue really quickly.
Oh.
And we were having to kind of back off and do a couple of things a little differently so that I could even do them correctly. So yeah, just very surprised and happy that I could accomplish the exercise and feel it where I was supposed to be feeling it. I had not worked out when we did the first virtual training. I had not worked out for close to 3 weeks. And the second day, my legs were so sore, which was a clear indication that it was definitely an accomplished workout. And I was, but a good sore.
Yeah.
But definitely
gratifying sore.
Yeah, like when you go to sit down, you go, oh my God, let me hold on to this table so I can sit down in this chair without killing myself.
So would you call the at-home workouts intense?
Very intense.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most intense and 1 being, easy peasy, I could do that all day. How would you rate the at-home workouts? I
would rate it a 10.
Wow.
And the exercise yesterday, there was a new exercise. And I said, gosh, I can hold this even longer. She, Alyssa said, get up at, in this position and, and hold. And then she said, okay, you can come down. And I said, I can hold longer. And she said, can? And I said, yeah. And so she says, okay. She said, come down all together. We're going to do something else. I thought, well, okay. And she said, now get the chair out, put your legs up on the chair, do this. And it took it to another level. So I guess, that she started me where she thought, I would be, but there was but if I had already, was beyond that level, I thought, oh, well, that exercise won't work, but oh Lord.
Yeah. And that was just probably one of the many ways she's able to customize it so that it is intense enough for you and also challenging you.
But I think the at-home exercises, it's the same muscle group, but you're doing it in another fashion. And I think it's kind of good because it does things that, if you did it on the same thing on the machine, it would be, working just a little bit differently. And I think it's kind of good that you're hitting those areas that maybe you're not accustomed to hitting.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point because that was my own experience. The first one that I had done, the first virtual workout, it was right, like you said, same muscle groups we've been working for years, but the movement was just slightly different. And I think that's also attributing to feeling like you're working different parts of your body and getting that muscle soreness because It's just working it in slightly different.
It's like different,
Yeah.
and it forces you to, which I need a lot of help with as I get older, balance.
Mm.
It really helps because when you're sitting on a machine, you really don't have to balance.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're standing up and doing something or going down the wall, with your back to the wall, you're kind of working everything to maintain that balance.
When the closures have lifted and we're able to return to the studios, do you see yourself ever doing the virtual training session for whatever reason?
Good question. I would never, if I was able to, not go to the studio. I still really love going to the studio, but because I do work a lot, sometimes it may not be as convenient. There have been times where I've had to cancel because I knew I just didn't have time to get into the studio. But if I can do it right here, and so that's going to help me in the future as far as, and especially now that I kind of know how to do it and I'm all set up and, get the drill. And I think that's going to really be great for people who maybe live even further away and, may not want to do it all the time, but on occasion when for whatever reason they can't get in.
So now there's no excuse.
Well,
they've got you on camera, Brucie. So just out of curiosity, because I know you mentioned trying to do the virtual personal training where you kind of had a gym set up, but now you're doing it in your living room at home. What equipment are you working with, if any?
Equipment, you mean exercise equipment?
Yeah, like dumbbells or bands or just your body.
Only dumb. I have these things called power blocks. That is the only quote equipment that I'm using.
So just the power block, dumbbells, and your body.
That's it. That's it.
And how is that? Do you feel like that's been effective? Do you feel like that you've been able to get in?
Extremely effective.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly effective. Yeah. As a side benefit, I want to keep mentioning the balance. I think it really helps with the balance.
And just after 3 sessions of doing virtual training, you already feel like that's making a difference? Like you're noticing that in day-to-day activities, your improved balance?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yes.
Do you think you could do this without the guidance of your trainer, this same workout?
No. No.
Why not?
Well, like especially with this, as opposed to, although I shouldn't say with the machines, because with the machines, you need guidance too. But I think it's even more important to have the guidance because they're seeing you and, she's saying, no, pull your feet back in a little more closer to your fingertips, or get your feet out a little more, or because we did the same exercise, for example, 3 times, so to speak, the first time, second time, and third time. And I still needed to be positioned. So no, I think it's even more important that a trainer guides you through and counts and gets your, continually, there's a lot of feedback of, are you feeling this? Or where'd you, how did this perform? And
so you feel like you're being coached the entire way.
Totally coached. Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Now my next question, rather than could you, is would you? Let's say you had, some online videos, you had your power blocks, maybe the Fast Fitness at Home manual. Do you think that you would do this if you didn't have the appointment and the accountability?
Absolutely not.
No?
It's all about, and that's just me, it's all about accountability. You just want to do it. Not only do you want to do it for them, but I know it's good for me, and I wouldn't do it if I didn't have to be somewhere at a time. And if I couldn't do it at that time, they're like, all right, well, what about tomorrow? What about later this afternoon? What about that? Yeah, all right.
Absolutely. We want you to work out. We will do whatever we can so that you can work out.
Make it work. But this is a super viable, very viable option. And just a real power workout. You guys have developed this, and I think it's really going to be worthwhile.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's an option for me, because my life being as hectic as it is, it's going to be an option for me to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great feedback. Thank you.
Yeah.